Hello! So normally on this channel, I just like to use clean gameplay clips for the background footage of these videos. I don't like using anything from my streams or anything that has an overlay or anything on it because I want you guys to be able to see what the full game looks like without my fucking greasy-ass face in the corner. However, unfortunately, this time we're going to have to make a little bit of an exception, and several of the clips that you're going to see are just going to be taken directly from my stream. This is because I thought the game had replays enabled during the beta, and it doesn't. And because of a problem we'll be talking about later in the video, getting more gameplay footage is kind of hard. I don't want to delay this video any more than I already have to, so you're just going to have to deal with the stream highlights-looking clips with the normal Gecko Scroll commentary. Before anyone asks, yes, I did try the slightly cheeky method of accessing things you're not supposed to, and you still can't get the replays. They're just not in the beta. So I'm sorry about that. I'll try and use, tutorial clips and other stuff where I can, but several of the clips are just going to have to be my greasy face in my chat pogging at me failing to tech throws. Sorry about that. Anyway, SNK has given us access to their newest fighting game, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, with a little early beta test a couple of months before the game comes out. Now, obviously, with it being a beta test, there are limited options of things that you can do, so most people have just been checking out the online features, which includes me. Alongside breaking open Ogre, I've been messing around with City of the Wolves a little bit. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Gara and Fatal Fury, but I've never really gotten into them, and I was hoping that this game would be the one to really click it for me. Really make me understand what Fatal Fury, and other SNK fighting games for that matter, are really about. And what do I think? Well, the game's fun, but we've got a couple of things we need to talk about. So, let's talk about my first impressions of City of the Wolves. But first, GamerSupps is having a giant sale! 21% off of everything, site-wide. Yes, everything from their caffeinated and non-caffeinated drinks, to their waifu cups, to their merch, even including their fucking lunchbox. Everything is now 21% off if you use my code He'sGekin at checkout. So, let's start with the things that I like about the game. City of the Wolves is fun. Fundamentally. There's a lot of different systems going about, and I didn't get a massive grasp of all of them, so I won't be breaking them all down in detail now. However, it does feel like SNK has been taking notes from other fighting games in the genre as of recently. The overheat gauge feels very, very similar to the drive gauge from Street Fighter 6. Being a gauge that lets you use EX moves very early on in a match, but if you use too many of them, you enter a overheated state. Kind of just feels like they were copying Capcom's notes a little bit there. But there's still a lot of other things in the game that I really like. The defensive options to begin with are absolutely insane. You have this dedicated rev button, which kind of works like an FD. It basically pushes the opponent further away for a little bit of rev meter. And you also have instant blocking. But the cool thing about instant blocking is when you IB, you're able to then do a move out of it. It's going to lead to situations where you're able to just sort of save yourself by blocking correctly and then immediately going for a counterattack. There's also the SPG gauge. This is actually something taken from the original Garo. While your health is in a certain range of your health bar, you get access to more attacks and more options. A lot of these are basically invincible moves that you're able to use, and they can lead to new combo routes, more damage, all of that cool stuff. Being an SPG is something that you kind of want to do, and being able to pick where it is on your health bar is a really cool thing. It allows you to plan around how your general gameplay style works. And also, the combo system is really cool. It took a while for me to understand how it truly worked, but I really like it. You can essentially cancel meter moves into other meter moves, and you're able to cancel your DPs early, so you can do a move, go into your DP, cancel it early, and then do whatever you want now that they're in that juggle state. It feels loose enough that you can make your own combos on the fly pretty easily, but still in-depth enough that you're able to absolutely optimize the shit out of it. It feels like when people get really, really good at this game, we're going to see some absolutely insane stuff. And all of it being linked to the rev gauge means that you can't always just spend a bunch of EX meter in order to get the crazy combos. You have to actually think about what you're doing. It really feels like in the gameplay department, this game is trying to take a step forward. A lot of sequels to fighting games, especially recently, have taken things away or tried to homogenize and simplify things. City of the Wolves, though, feels like it's just adding more to what it already has. The game feels absolutely amazing to play. The characters feel fast and fluid and nice in a way that's really interesting. Combos kind of have a similar structure. However, there's a bunch of different moves that you can use. And even then, once we start getting into optimal stuff, I'm sure that paths are going to deviate heavily. Apart from a couple of weird design decisions, like the fucking bad guy being Ronald Reagan for some reason.
Next time you target the rich, think about who'll end up suffering the most.
I think that this game is going to do really, really well in the gameplay department. You may be wondering, with how I've just spent about like 6 minutes gushing about how good this game is, why the title is 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's because SNK has failed to deliver on some of the fundamental needs of a modern fighting game. The online in this game kinda sucks ass. Now, okay, it has rollback. We are at the bare minimum, at least. But the rollback can be a little bit funky. When I streamed the game, I said I was willing to play literally anyone around the world because I like to stress test the rollback of different games. I like to put it in the worst possible condition that it can be in to see how it does. Rollback in any normal situation is always good. It's only when you really start to test and bend the system where you see how bad or how good it is. And City of the Wolves... it's not the worst rollback I've ever experienced, but it has a couple of problems. To begin with, you can't set your own delay. The game has variable delay alongside rollback, which is kind of the norm nowadays. However, not being able to set your own rollback can lead to situations where matches are a little bit more teleporty than you would like, especially when you're like me and you know what 200 ping kind of means. It would be fine if it had variable and it wasn't so stingy about it, though. It feels like it takes forever for the delay frames to actually go up. I've had situations in matches where the lag has gotten kind of out of hand, and it's waited until the next round to increase the delay. I get not wanting to increase the delay in the middle of the match because suddenly going from 0 frames of delay to 2 frames of delay could be jarring, but when someone's teleporting around, it's also jarring. If not a little bit more so than adding a couple of frames of delay. But that's a minor issue compared to the major one. Getting into a match is fucking painful. Obviously, the beta is entirely designed on testing the network infrastructure. They want you to play online for this beta. That's what they want. If only I could play online for this beta. Trying to get into a ranked match takes forever, and I'm pretty sure it's not because no one's playing ranked. The natural default selected mode is ranked mode, and casual mode is just as bad. It takes so long for you to get connected to another person, and when you do, there's no guarantee that it's a good connection. I had one ranked match in the entire time that I was streaming before I gave up and went in lobby matches, and the connection was really high for no reason. Speaking of lobby matches, the lobbies also suck. For some reason, the lobbies just refuse to work sometimes. Putting them to private apparently just breaks it to the point where no one can join the lobby. The game also on PC doesn't use your Steam friends list. It has its own inbuilt friends list for you to use. I don't know why that's the case, but it makes adding people to lobbies a pain in the ass. And even then, there's a chance that your lobby just doesn't work. I had to restart my game because for some reason every lobby I made refused to work, and restarting it fixed it. This sucks. Having bad online infrastructure for fighting games in 2025 is unacceptable. People are used to going into a game, pressing one button, and it immediately cues them into a match. Having to finesse about or wait forever in order to play a game nowadays, especially online, is just not gonna fly with most consumers. I think this game is really fun. Do I think it's worth waiting 3 times the length of a normal match to play? No, I don't. SNK has always had troubles with this. There was a website for the longest time called IsKOF15's Matchmaking Still Broken.com. And the last time I checked it before they took it down, it just said maybe. SNK is just not the best when it comes to this online infrastructure, but they need to get it right. You have a good game on your hands. It's fun to play. Just let me play it. Please. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm sorry that this one was way messier than, like, every other video I've ever made, but that's what happens when 2 fighting game things happen in one weekend. I'll see you guys next week for fucking Grand Blue, probably. Have a good night, everyone. Can you believe we're at the patron read and that queue still hasn't popped? Anyway, very special thanks to 64 MHz, Akechi Crow, Almost Naptime, Angel S, Axolotl Syndicate, Bocchi the Rock FGC, Daniel Wiederick, Edison Lottery, Fexo, FL Maxler, Games.png, Haywire Novali, Hoffmeister Bear, I Am Naoto, It's Riley, Knife and Spoon, Crittycat, Beige Paladin, MP04, oh hey look it popped, Mr. Clen, Ray W, Sergeant Cubby, Slammigal42, Super, Falcon, and Velvet Puppy for being Tier 2 patron supporters.